So, I was walking through the streets of Perth looking for dingoes, and then I wondered, what is the weather and the climate like? So, I walked up to a local citizen and asked him some questions. Hello, local citizen.
Hello there.
Tell me about the weather of Perth.
Well, so as you know, the latitude is negative 31.953004, and the longitude is 115.8576093. So you know what that means with the weather, obviously.
Of course, I know what that is. That affects the weather. That means that doesn't have that much climate change, but it does have rainy and dry seasons.
Well, exactly that. And also, Perth is at an elevation of 34 meters or 111 feet at its highest. And the rest is sea level, which obviously means that it's a bit warmer and a bit more humid, with wind currents that come out of the ocean and the ocean currents that are warm from Australia and from the Pacific. So it gives Perth a warmer weather year round. Also, Perth has variations in temperature and precipitation per month, also in the amount of average days with sunlight per month, as you can see in this and this graph. Here you can see a graph showing the average hours of sunlight per day per month in Perth. The highest is 13 hours, and it's quite a lot, as Perth is quite a sunny city. And in the summer, that's the 13 hours, and in the winter, it can drop down to 7 hours in the months of June and July, as the seasons are flipped in Perth, as it's in the southern hemisphere. Perth, being a coastal city, is quite hot. As you can see here, the average temperature for the months of January and February are 31 degrees Celsius, which is quite hot, and then it drops to around 17 degrees Celsius in July and June as the seasons are reversed. There's also a large amount of precipitation going on in Perth around the months of July and June, with around 14 centimeters of precipitation falling down from the sky. There is no snow, however, year-round in Perth, as the seasons aren't that defined, and there's just a drier and a wetter season. Also, if you want to swim in the ocean in Perth, the conditions are quite favourable, as the average ocean temperature is around 20 degrees Celsius. However, beware of sharks. There's been an unusually large amount of shark sightings in Perth this year, and also in the past 12 months in Western Australia, there's been 5 fatal shark attacks. Perth is also quite the sunny city. As you can see here, this is one of the few days that it's actually cloudy. The month with the most cloudy average days is June, with 14 to 15 cloudy days.
And well, I've also noticed that in Perth, there's not much landforms, there's no mountains, there's no valleys. It's really lame.
That's right. As you can see, Perth is quite flat and plain. It doesn't really have any mountains, which allows Perth to have a lot more of wind, which brings down the temperatures a bit. Although it also allows it to be drier, because moisture doesn't bounce off the mountains and rise, so it also heats Perth up a bit because of the precipitation levels. But wait, there's more. Perth is affected by tropical weather coming from the north of Australia, which brings cyclones and monsoons around October and April. Also, frontal systems and cloud bands around the central of Australia bring Perth more rainfall throughout the year.
That sounds great, but tell me, what is the subtropical ridge?
The subtropical ridge is a very high pressure system around the middle of the globe that brings monsoons and fronts around the area that it affects. It affects Western Australia and Perth by bringing monsoons, but also stabilizing weather during the summer.
Wow.
Farewell, mate, and watch out for that dingo.